Okay, so you said that you came back to the industry in 2021.
Yes.
Why did you leave?
So, like I said before, acting was never on the radar. It was something I did for fun. I could do it, and I did it. So, I read architecture in University of Jos, but I spent my life in the theatre arts department. So, any free time, because there was a really beautiful amphitheater in Jos, and I just loved to go and watch, and get to know the people. So all them Freda Mata, them Ireti Doyle, Agatha Martha, they were all in Unijos at that time. And I just thoroughly enjoyed that experience. So it was never, my plan was read architecture, work in the architectural field. Acting was not it. But in the process, so I did read architecture. I started working in architecture. From architecture, I moved to interior design. And then I now decided that I wanted to go to the States. And the person I went to meet was like, it's not that easy. And I'm like, yeah, but all your children are in the States. So how hard can it be? And he goes, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you a letter to go to Raymond Dopesi. And I'm like, who's that? It was like AIT. Meanwhile, my father, anytime I'm reading something, my father would just tell me that, maybe you should become a newscaster. I was like, newscaster? Read the news. No way, I can't read the news. It's too boring. But I idolized Siene Razak Lawal, Ruth Benemesia Ope. I thought they were modeling Sharafa Yusuf. Oh, as in these people, I was like, But I read the news. You just sit down there, it's not going to work. Anyway, so I took the letter to Dopesi. I'd also met Kenny and D1 before this, because D1 lived opposite me in Utemeta. I took the letter to Dopesi, and he sent me to Ladi Lawal. And Mr. Lawal said, he looked at it, looked at the letter, looked at my CV and said, I don't understand why you want to work for us. I said, well, I wanted to actually go abroad, but the person that I went to meet said that I should. Said, we can't afford to pay you what you were earning from where you were coming. In the interior design firm, I was earning 14,000 naira. So I went from architecture where I was earning 2,000 naira a month to 14,000 naira a month in the interior design firm. And then AIT offered me 8,000 naira. Now, this is 1998. My mom had just died. My father's retired. I'm the first child. None of my siblings were working yet. My brother, I think he was in his final year in university or just finished. So it was youth service. So of course, the ones below him, there's no way they would have finished school. And I remember D1 saying to me, he said, I don't understand why you want to work in AIT. Do you see any of my siblings there? I'm like, I don't understand what's wrong with you. What do you mean by do I see any of your siblings there? I mean, he now goes, you won't get your first salary in the first 3 months. I was like, yeah, look at you. Look at you. And it was like, don't look at me. I'm like, okay, I didn't get my first salary till 3 months after. And there was a lot going on in dark communications. I couldn't understand it. Anyway, they posted me to television. I got the job on the spot. And I started working in television. I also had a hard time in television because there was English speaking, looking hot. And they were like, nah, we cannot allow this girl to thrive. And I thought to myself, these people don't understand that. I'm not their mate. My first friend in AIT TV was Iyonde Awuru. She used to be the producer for Lunch Break. And people will go behind her and meet her, and she cannot talking to her. So I think I complained to Kenny and D1 that they were not, all I was doing was reviewing CDs and videos. So I'd come to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. Alagbado from Budemeta. The first person after me will come in at 10. And all I'm doing is watching videos. And Kenny was like, okay. You know what? You'll do nights. You'll train with Sule Elams. You'll learn how to use the console. So I was like, okay. So I looked towards that. I started doing that. And they're like, you can't reach that. Kenny gave me a 5-hour belt on radio on Friday from 12 noon to 5 p.m. A nobody, a novice. There were people who had been working in AIT longer than me. And people didn't, in radio, if you mispronounce the word, somebody from news will just come and say, next time, please, when they give you the script, come and meet us and we'll help you so you can. So they were willing to help me grow. It was after that I appeared on TV. After I worked in AIT, I did 1 year in AIT. I left because I hadn't been paid in 6 months. And there was no way, I was not going to do what other people were doing. I'm not going to take money from agencies. My father was still like, we're going to tell him that I stole money from somewhere because they have not paid my salary. I couldn't do it. So my sister now said, why don't you start tailoring? Because I've been tailoring since I was 10. I was like, tailoring, chasing people for money. But AIT opened the door for acting. So you meet people in the industry because they're always coming to AIT, coming to RAPA because they wanted interviews, they wanted to promote their work. And that was how acting came into. But I dumped it and went because tailoring in movie. So I went into tailoring, very successful for the first 10, 12 years. But I was very bad at business. So I didn't know how to manage my money. So I had to shut down my business for a while and then re-register as a limited liability company. And then I now started putting processes in place and blah, 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 blah. So that's how, but I faced that acting, tailoring, I beg your pardon. I'd also been a makeup artist. So I started just before Banke and Tara started. So we're the first 3 sets makeup people that used to do makeup for brides. But I faced my tailoring. And then I thought, okay, so let's start looking for, as you're getting older, you need something that is less physically demanding. And that's how I started looking into, let me go back into acting. And the first job I got was from, was Itura. So, that was a really beautiful platform to come back.